Got the new deal done. You had spoken about that a few weeks ago that you were ready whenever they are. You happy to have that done?
For sure. It's nice, and I'm super grateful for God giving me another opportunity to continue to be here. It's a place I've been so long, and just keep doing what I've been doing. It's not something I was super worried about, but I'm certainly not going to complain. It's very cool.
What's the offense feel like 3 weeks in terms of where you need to be versus where you are now?
I mean, I think we're progressing really well. I certainly like where we're at now versus where we started. Not that things were bad when we started, but day one is always going to be day one, no matter how good you are. And I think we're progressing well, and I think we're we certainly got stuff to clean up, me included, especially. Like, nobody's had a perfect day out here, and which I think is a good sign because everyone's still growing and got room to grow. And I think where we're headed is going to be really cool.
Kaleb, do you take any time to reflect on kind of where the right side of the offensive line was when you and Chris were both drafted and where it is now, and some pride in you guys kind of solidifying that side of it? I
mean, yes and no. I do look back on my early days here and think, man, I'm glad that's over. That's being a rookie sucks, man. It really does. And I'm just very grateful for where I am now. It's like I said, I thank God every day for giving me the opportunity that He has to be here.
Do you have a favorite news flash from Ryan Musil from his early years here?
My friend, you are asking way too much of my memory. I'm sorry, that was a while ago. I get hit in the head way too much.
Do you remember that period of time fondly, though, the news flashes?
I do. I enjoyed them quite a bit myself. He was good. He was good. It was sad when we lost that act after he became a vet. That was a sad day.
Can you just talk about how you've seen him grow from being an undrafted guy to now being the starting center?
I mean, he's always been a great player for us. Just because he wasn't starting doesn't mean that he hasn't been a huge contribution to our offense. Given looks and stuff for the first couple of years in practice, and he's obviously played a bunch of games for us now, and he's a quality center, and he's doing really well. And to his credit, he Lewis and Drew, he stepped right back into the role and hasn't missed a beat. It's been good.
What did you make of what James did today in the scrimmage?
What's that?
What did you make of what James did today in the scrimmage today and his performance just overall?
I mean, yeah, he's got a ton of physical talent. We'll see when bullets are live. Till we get to week one, it's just practice.
Do offensive linemen want to play in the preseason, or are you fine just sitting that one out?
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm here to do what I'm told, man. Yeah. Point in direction and tell me go. If I had to give a preference, I mean, I don't really care. I'll be honest. Like, it's never a bad thing to get a couple of reps, couple of live reps, knock the rust off and stuff for good. But I'm also not going to complain about not going out and risking injury in a preseason, before we even get to games that matter.
Right. Coach was saying that because of this, guys that are not going on Friday, this is kind of y'all's opportunity to really get some work in. Obviously, you can't simulate exactly what it's like on game day, but do you get some of that rust off? Is there some of that feeling going through?
Oh, for sure. That's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of days like this, and I think a lot of the older players are, because knowing that we're not going to get any live reps in the preseason, it's like you said, opportunity to help shake the rest of that rust off and get used to what it's going to be like when we step out under the lights.
Y'all did the little break, go in the locker room, have the rest with rep, and kind of ramp back up and play the second half. Does that all help?
I do. I think it's a great way to mimic kind of the ebb and flow of the game. Obviously, it's quite a bit shorter than a real game is, but it mimics the ebb and flow pretty well. And I think within reasonable time confinement, I think it's great.
We've got time for two more.
Kaleb, is there anyone, again, scrimmages, it's training camp, all that kind of stuff, but has there been anyone specifically maybe today that caught your eye, whether it was defense or offense, on your squad?
I mean, Drake catching that last ball for the touchdown was pretty freaking cool. I'm never going to be upset about that. And Drake's a guy I have a tremendous amount of respect for. He is as hard a working, if not the hardest working receiver I have ever been lucky enough to know. He'll block. He is a superb receiver. I have a ton of respect for him.
We were talking to Bijan yesterday, and one of the questions he was asked, who's the guy you look to on the offense to kind of get your spirits up, your energy up, get you fired up? And he mentioned Matthew Bergeron, who's a guy who not a lot of people talk about. What can you say about Berge and just kind of the personality that he adds to the offense and the offensive line?
I mean, he's one of those guys. He's a great player, great dude, really, really electric, upbeat personality. When Burge is having a good day, pretty much everybody else is having a good day. He's just very infectious, great personality in the room.
Yeah, it's been awesome, first and foremost. But coming from a good defensive playbook in college, I think it helped me a lot coming here with Olbrich's style of play and what we want to do on defense. But it's been nothing but the best, I'm getting out there with the older guys and people who experience and people who, will bring you up and make sure we're all out there on the same page is awesome.
How's the dynamic been with Xavier out there too? A couple rookies, both you guys in the secondary together.
Yeah, it's awesome, coming in here with X and, talking ever since, we're throughout the draft process, and then coming out here and, I'll line up and sometimes I'll look back at the safety and see X out there too. And so it's a great thing, we're just out here living our dreams and, continue to press forward.
And today getting some of those, scrimmage reps in, how different was that from, the regular practices you're doing? Raheem's talking a lot about, trying to simulate those live game reps, with some starters not playing in the preseason. I'm sure, yourself is going to be playing, but considering all of that, how was it out there today?
It's been a lot similar to, a lot like practice has been since we've been put the pads on, full pads. It's full go, everything, I would just stay up off the ground. So not much different today as a scrimmage, more focused reps, more, eliminating all the extra stuff out of practice, getting straight to the point. But it was great today. Same old as practice, same intent, none of that's going to change.
Billy, Ulbrich has described this as an attacking defense. How do you, in the nickel corner spot, kind of fit into that attacking mindset?
First, I would say my mindset, my style of play. A guy who wants to get to the ball fast, a guy who wants to go make plays, be the first one to the ball and, make that big hit, that big catch, interception, whatever it is. But I think his defense, is very complex. It allows us to do a lot of things, whether that's just, being underneath the defender and shoot gaps, blitz off the edge, blitz in the B gap at times, play man. So it's very versatile, and, I love that, being able to do everything.
Because of the versatility and using the safeties kind of along those lines, is there some more crossover, I guess, with the slot corners and the safeties than maybe, AJ and Mike might experience? In terms of like role overlap, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely more going on with the corners rather than the safeties. I feel like oftentimes we're meeting nickels a lot with the corners because that's a lot of times our main communication we'll be the guy right next to us and that's the corner. But as far as DBs goes, a lot of them are interchangeable, and I'm sure we would ask all of our DBs to be able to play everything.
How would you evaluate your performance so far this camp?
Solid, I'm a perfectionist at heart, but just getting here, not trying to be too hard on myself, enjoying the process, enjoying what it takes. This is the greatest, highest level there is in pro sports, so it's going to be a day-by-day challenge, but I feel like I've been doing solid. I've been, leaning back on my core values, just hard working, come in, be the first one in, last one out, ask questions, make sure I know my job, because without that, nothing else can go. Just overall, just show good effort out there and just earn trust from the coaches and veterans.
Do you think you've earned that trust so far at this point?
Yeah, so far I think I have.
And any jitters, anything like that, just moving into Friday?
No, not really jitters. I would say just anxiousness, want to go out there, get that first one under your belt, if you've dreamed about it your whole life and, it's like you just keep checking off goals off your list. So no jitters, no nervousness, but just, ready to see what it's like.
Seems like the DBs and Drake were having a conversation all day today. Would that get a little chippy?
You want that.
Right.
But yeah, when things get like that, you want that. But we weren't saying nothing to Drake. We were just, giving our applause to Mike Hughes. Had a few great plays out there on him, and he might have took offense to it or something. But we go in the locker room. It's all cordial. It's all good. But competition out here for sure.
It feels like some of the line of scrimmage stuff has bled back to the defensive backs and the offense kind of chirping at each other, which you think is healthy, right?
Yeah, I think what's been happening in practice is healthy. You want that, and then when you dig down deep into it, those are the guys that you'll be going to play against other people with.
Right.
So you want that. You want that on the team.
You mentioned Mike Hughes. What did you like out of what you saw in the secondary today during scrimmage?
Just a lot of people just communicating. We're getting on the same pages as, the whole back end, back seven, linebackers, all the way to the corner, safeties, nickels. Just a lot of communication. Everybody was on the same page. Didn't seem like we had really any busts today. So good work out there. We need to attack the ball when it's in the air more and take some of them out the air.
Billy, Drake is a great example of how offenses are using all types of wide receivers in the slot nowadays. Is that something that you have to be conscious of the breadth of different types of styles and body types and things like that you could see week to week?
Yeah, you do. You got to know where the people's go-to is at, and I feel like Drake is definitely one of our go-to guys. So a lot of the times, where he's at will give the defense a heads up what's going to happen. You want to go to that guy. Now, they do a great job moving everybody around. So it's a lot of times it's hard to pick up on. But yeah, I mean, I've even had talks with some of the vets like AJ and Mike Hughes in the corner room just about like when you get into playing teams, those top players, whenever they're moving and stuff like that, they're trying to get them the ball. So yeah,
those are the indicators that you're kind of looking for.
Yeah.
What's your priority on this rest day before preseason kicks off on Friday?
My priority, I would say, is just to watch the rest of this Lions film and know my job when I go out there. Know my job, do your job. That's what you got to do.
How much of this is preparing for the Lions as much as it is just what you're going to be doing? Does that make sense?
No.
Like when you're talking a preseason game, like your preparation for this, like watching film of the Lions versus doing stuff on your own.
Yeah. I would say watching the Lions stuff is extra. That's extra preparation. You want to be prepared. But ultimately, I feel like the way I can see the preseason being viewed is, working on yourself internally. Trying to fix everything that we need to fix rather than focus on the other opponent. But we definitely want to know what the other. We don't want to go in there blind. So I think it's extra preparation for you going in, and you want to make a team. You got to go make plays, and you got to know what's going on.
Kirk Cousins as the number 2 guy that you've been working with a lot this camp, and it's obvious that he's not really a backup quarterback, right? He's been a starter in the league for like 13 years. What has that experience been like for you?
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Someone I grew up watching, someone I admire as a person. Being around him last year and getting to know him, and he's still a great football player, and he's slinging it, he's having fun, and it's great to have that guy as our quarterback.
How much does that help you guys as kind of the second unit, having a guy Kirk throwing to you?
A lot. I mean, it's the guy's played in the league for a long time, and for good reason, and I think he's shown that, and he's still a great quarterback, and someone that we lean on if we have questions, or if he sees something a certain way, we could trust his opinion. So it's been great having him as a quarterback and just as a leader on the team.
Has he been different at all this year compared to last?
I think just he's still a professional, coming to the building every day and working, and allowing Mike to take the reins and to be the quarterback of the team. And he's been a great guy in the locker room. He's just it wasn't easy, what happened last year, but he's just been an A1 character guy, from the beginning. So he's great, and I really appreciate him.
What's the best Kirk Cousins dad joke you've heard so far?
Ooh.
I know there's.
I don't
probably a whole
know. Yeah, I
roster of
don't.
them.
I probably can't say off the top of my head, but he's a funny guy, man. Like his humor is, some of the stuff he says is like you wouldn't expect for it to come out of his mouth. But he's a funny guy, and I've gotten to know him over the last year or so, and I've really enjoyed it.
Can you give us an example of something that you've heard that you're surprised to hear from Kirk Cousins?
I can't think of it. I can't think of it. But no, he's a funny guy, and he keeps it light, and he keeps it fun. Good.
Jesse, how much pressure do you feel going into the next 2 Fridays to show something on the field?
I think pressure is what you make of it. I think it's a great opportunity. I think when you have the perspective of that you're playing the game of football at a high level, and it's something that you've dreamed of your whole life, you try to have fun with it and control what you can control, and allow everything else to work itself out. But I'm having fun. We have a great receiver room. We have a great camaraderie amongst the team, so just enjoying the process.
How do you feel right now?
I feel good, real good. Body feel great. Really excited for Friday, obviously. First NFL game. Camp's been a grind, but it's been fun.
How much do you feel ready to play, given the fact that you haven't been able to be out in the practice field as much as you wanted to?
Yeah, I still feel ready to go. I mean, all the work I've still done through our little break throughout the summer still is preparing me for Friday. I've still been getting good work, even though I missed a couple days or whatnot. But conditioning is still good. Still been in the playbook, learning stuff, so still ready to go.
You came in as a guy that has studied Jesse Bates and has been prepared to Jesse Bates. And now that you're actually in the room with him every day, have you kind of taken things to the next level as far as like, oh wow, okay, this is how he, this is how he operates?
Right. No, it's been awesome just being around him and the rest of the guys as well. But Jesse specifically is just, he's a veteran guy. He's all-pro, best safety in the NFL. So, I mean, it's just awesome just being around him every day, seeing how he works, seeing how he learns, and just picking up on certain things that he does.
2 iPads he's got with him, like
yeah.
in meetings. Have you adopted that at all? Are you doing the same thing?
I haven't done that yet. I'm still working on one iPad, but he's been in the league for 8 years, so he's got 2 iPads full of notes and stuff. So I'm not ready yet for that.
Xavier, how has it been for you? Getting a lot of first-team reps out there. Doing some of that with Billy as well. The rookies getting some good reps in practice, and obviously you get the scrimmage in today, some simulated game reps of sorts. How has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been awesome. You're just coming in, you not really know what to expect, but kind of just throw you out in the fire, and you either got to show up or you don't. So it's been awesome, getting those reps, just getting me prepared for what's to come in the season. But it's been really good for me, and Billy as well, rest of the rookies too. So.
What do you want to show in this first preseason game?
Truly just the type of player I am. I'm ready to go out there and just truly just play fast. All of college, I just went out there, play fast, made plays, so ready to show Falcon Nation. That's what I want to do for however long I'm here. So.
And today, working against some of the likes of or not even just today, but throughout training camp, playing against the starters, Michael Penix, Dre, Kyle, all those guys. What is one thing that you've noticed from them playing on the opposite field?
Yeah, they're just awesome players as well. They're great people too. They've been really welcoming, as a rookie, but just on the field, seeing how fast they play, how fast they're able to process the game, and it's really up my competitive level and, start preparing me for the next level, which is on that right now.
And Jeff has, been preaching, and everyone's been talking about it, just how this defense has been playing with an edge of sorts. Can you kind of articulate that from your perspective?
Yeah, I really just think it's violence. Like I said, just have some swagger with you. You can't be, a defensive guy, have no swagger. You can't have no edge. You got to go out there and really prove it every play, and that's what he's been preaching to us, and we've been doing that.